Welcome back to my channel. I am Sylvia and I'm a carnivore diet coach. It's been more than 3 weeks since I recorded my last video, and that's because I was away on a vacation in Canada. I was planning to record there, but so many things got in my way. I ended up not doing it, but here I am today. Let's catch up. The province I was staying in is called Saskatchewan, so it is really cold. When we got there, there was at least 4 days of snowing each day, at least a foot overnight. So we got completely snowed in, and the temperature were as low as -40 with the wind chill. It was crazy. If you're not used to this kind of temperatures, it will drive you insane, but I enjoyed it. This is my, I want to say, 7th or 8th trip to Canada for Christmas and New Year's. And at this stage, I'm quite well adapted. Or I should say, it is the change that I experienced after going carnivore, because it is so much easier to tolerate cold temperatures when you are on the carnivore diet. I remember when I first started going into Canada and I was just coming out of the vegan diet and going on to the ketogenic diet, I was getting so cold and I was wearing so many layers and it didn't seem to help. Complete opposite this time around. So it's right now early afternoon and it is -27 degrees, maybe going -35 later on, and it was -40 first thing in the morning, and it was windy. But one thing that is different from what I'm used to, and in Poland, is cold and damp, so you actually feel it in your bones a lot more, whereas here is dry and really cold. So for some reason this is more tolerable than this cold and damp. Okay, I have to stop filming because my fingers are actually freezing. Now that said, you still have to be careful when you are going outside in this kind of temperatures, because you can easily get a frostbite on your cheeks, your nose, your chin, or you can even lose your fingers to freezing temperatures. But I love winter wonderland. I love snow. I loved that cold, crispy air. It's just something I grew up with, so I love it, and I encourage my kids to enjoy it too. So we went outside for 20 minutes every day, regardless of how cold it was. Alistair! Hey! Oh, so cold outside! I was staying at my in-laws' house and it was really easy to keep up with my diet, mainly because they do eat a lot of meat themselves, although they also eat all kind of processed foods, but just excluding things that I wouldn't touch with the 10-foot pole. It was really easy to just eat meat, eggs, butter. And there was also the newest generation Ninja Foodie air fryer, so it was really easy to make it work while staying at someone else's house. When it comes to shopping, it is really easy to make it work as a carnivore. There are so many choices, starting from beef, pork, lamb and chicken, and you can get even organ meats in a regular supermarket. For example, here in New York you would have to go to a specialty store or ethnic stores, or maybe you get lucky with Whole Foods. But if you just go to a regular supermarket, organ meats are probably non-existent thing in New York City. But there, no problem. If you wanted to get a conventional liver, you can get it from a regular supermarket. I would say it is a little bit more challenging to get organic, grass-fed, grass-finished. It seems that this movement is a lot stronger here in the United States, although they do have something similar to Butcher Box. It is called True Local, but the Saskatchewan province does not have that service just yet. But it is growing, just a little bit slower than here in the United States. A lot of supermarkets had this massive section for all kind of meats, and then right next to it in the dark corner was this tiny section of Beyond Meats and alternative meats, really tiny. There was a one specialty store called Dad's Nutrition. It had everything that a carnivore mom needs. So you could even get the bones with the bone marrow, bone broths, all kind of organ meats, grass-fed, grass-finished cuts of meat. So you name it, they had it, and I was going there quite frequently, mostly for my little boys. And because of Dad's Nutrition, it was really easy to give my 9-month-old son solids. I would get chicken livers, steak tips, and bone broths from Dad's Nutrition, made it into a stew, portion it, and then pulverize it, and that's what I was feeding to my little one, along with some fruit, banana, pears, and apples, and that is what he's currently eating. And let's talk about Christmas baking, because it is delicious and most of us grew up on it. So for example, for me, I have a strong association with the smell and flavor of gingerbread with Christmas tree, celebrating with family and eating a lot of gingerbread. And to make the matters worse, my husband's sister is a professional baker and she makes wonderful Christmas baking, and gingerbread is one of her specialties. You can imagine how difficult it was. And I think many of you can relate to this, that you can be completely free from cravings physiologically, like things like coffee, for example, and yet you have this mental and psychological conditioning to start your day with coffee, or to have gingerbread for Christmas, or to eat all kind of carby foods when you are sitting at the table with your family. This is really difficult, even if you've been doing carnivore diet for a while. But I had some strategies to deal with it. My first one, which I think I have to make a separate video about, it is basically bulletproof. You mix butter and honey and you eat it anytime you crave it, and you can basically withstand everything. Another thing that helped me stay committed to the cause was eating of organ meats, and I wasn't really planning on it. It sort of happened accidentally. The packages of the chicken livers that I was getting for my son were really large, so I wasn't able to use them all up, so I was eating the leftovers, and that gave me a really strong feeling of satiety, and I basically wasn't thinking about food when I ate the chicken livers, a lot of them. Also, your mindset is super important when you go on vacation. Naturally, we tend to think that, oh, I'm going on vacation on holiday, so it is a time to let go, enjoy, and forget about all kind of discipline. But I did it differently this time. I thought to myself that discipline is just as important, and I will use discipline and what I've learned thus far to maintain myself during these holidays, and I will do some more for my body, mind, and spirit. And of course, diet is an important part of it. One of my main goals while going on vacation was to continue exercising, and so I did that pretty much every other day. I was either running 3 miles on the treadmill that was available in the house I was staying at, or I was going to the gym for weightlifting and some other exercises. And I stayed committed to that, and exercising alone sets me on the path that if I've exercised already, which I usually do it first thing in the morning, I am not going to mess up the rest of my day, and that was really helpful as well. I also did meditation, yoga, and facials, and the facial that I did was the main reason why I couldn't record when I planned to record in Canada, because it was so strong. It was so rejuvenating that my face was red, and then a couple days later peeling all over. I did not expect that to happen, and that was not part of the advertising for this facial, but that's what happened to me, and that is why I didn't record in Canada. I just didn't think it was a good idea to get in front of the camera with my face coming off. Overall, it was a wonderful trip. I rested a lot. I got rejuvenated mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and also physically. And it is the very first trip where I didn't think that I overeaten. I stayed committed to my diet, and I stayed committed to my fitness goals. In fact, I lost a little bit more weight, which is really great. And I really needed that break, because last 3 to 4 months of 2022 were really intense for me. I have had so many different things that have happened all at the same time that required my attention and time. I felt like I was putting out fires left, right, and center, and it was just not enough of me. Alright, so this will do it for this week's video. Yes, I spent 3 weeks in a climate equivalent to that of Siberia, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It is really easy to be carnivore in Canada, especially if you are not picky about grass-fed, grass-finished meats. There are so many different choices, and there are so many different packages made for families, so it is really easy to be carnivore on the budget. If you haven't yet, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you in my next video.